Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to further expand upon introducing myself and how I grew to love the career field that I'm in. So I was driving from Abilene to Wichita Falls today, and I did a process we're all very familiar with, which is merging. So I'm looking on my on-ramp and I see the two cars that I want to get in between, and I start speeding up. And in that process, the car over to my left decides to hit the gas and get in front. So now I have to slow down, see my gap, and then get behind it. That process is known as confluence, which is one word I'd use to describe ending up in logistics. So I joined the Air Force with the intention of earning a stable paycheck while I figured out what it is I wanted to do. I did want to do anything that was directly relating to the mission. I wanted to be an operator, but through the recruitment process, I ended up in fuels management, which is a subsect of logistics. It took a lot of self-reflection to find where my purpose was within this. But I came to find three things: that I wanted to always be marketable, I always had a strong sense of organization, and no matter where I've been in life, I've had the most success being in supporting roles, whether that be supporting actor, a teacher, being the assistant to a manager. All of those things had given me the most success. From a young age, I always wanted to have a utilitarian mindset. I always had the mindset of being indispensable no matter where you're at, and having valuable skills no matter where you're at, to keep things flexible. So I always wanted jobs with high demand, and I wanted to make myself as marketable no matter where I go in life. And logistics is just that. Logistics is the key to success for any business, any organization, any military. That means no matter what, there's gonna be a demand for logisticians. And the US Labor Bureau solidifies that by stating that employment of logisticians is projected to grow 9% from 2023 to 2033. That upward trajectory of the hireability of the job alone gives me comfort knowing that no matter what I'm doing, I can always find a job. A common but valid concern for many of us is that will AI take over our jobs? And I mean, we see this in the manufacturing process, and it's starting to seep its way into the white collar jobs, where we're starting to see accounting get done more and more by AI, crunching numbers, things like that, which is important, or is understandable. However, Aaron Moses of Penske Logistics finds that while AI is improving supply chain processes, seamless movement of goods will still rely on humans to oversee it. So it's just like how we're taught in the beginning of this course that you may use AI, but you need to be part of the process. So what you put in is what you're going to get out. If you remove the human from that process, what's going to happen is you're going to get a constant echo chamber of goods. So yes, the customer might get the stuff quicker, but they might get the wrong item, or they're not going to get it to the right location. Things like that, relying on the customer side of things, is why you need a human present to make that process flourish. I see this firsthand when I was deployed as an equipment equipment manager. So we had a delay, or a possible delay in a mission happen because of one piece of equipment that was not able to be found. So we had it on all of our supply logs, we had it everywhere properly labeled on documentation, but the physical item was not labeled and it was not where it was supposed to be. Through our pass-on, we were unable to see that. Well, we've luckily found it in time, but if we would have not been able to find it in time, that delay would have caused all these organizations to have to refigure out their planning to get this one job done that was luckily easily done with that piece of equipment that we were scrambling for. Which is how I got to see that having organizational skills and problem-solving skills flourished in this career field. I might have enjoyed the fact that it's marketable, but what sold me on staying in was that I had a knack for being able to make things happen, for being able to solve problems at quick time, real time, which is a fundamental of logistics. Logistics is organizing information and streamlining processes. So kind of going back to why we need humans to oversee it, Kara Coleman Fields puts it best that logisticians foster relationships with suppliers and clients. They understand the client's needs and they create plans to tailor to those needs, identifying areas for improvement, streamlining processes. That's the name of the game. A prime example of this, pun intended, is Amazon. So they took their warehouses and they redesigned their floor plans to speed efficiency. They're using what's known as Six Sigma principles, which is a philosophy where you're analyzing information and you're trying to decrease customer wait times and decrease the amount of workflow having to happen to get a job done. If you're able to get the same product out within 4 hours or 6 hours, which one are you going to take? The 4-hour option. So they managed to apply those principles in just the way that they made their assembly lines within their warehouses and push out goods. I got to practice this firsthand again as an equipment maintenance supervisor deployed. So we had over 50 trucks that we needed to inspect daily just to get the job done and fuel out to the planes. And so the original way that we were doing it was we were having to walk from truck to truck physically inspecting each of the items, which took over 50 minutes to an hour to accomplish, which is decreasing our work time to be able to get fuel to planes quickly and efficiently. So what I decided to do was to create an assembly line approach where instead myself and my teammate were to stay in one spot, and all of our drivers would come and bring the trucks to us one at a time, kind of like a Jiffy Lube or a 5-minute oil change place. So in that process, we cut down the inspection time by well over half. We were sitting at 25 minutes to be able to inspect all 50 trucks and hit all of our inspection items efficiently and correctly. So I got to see that flourish. However, it kind of reaffirmed that I was supposed to be here, because although I wasn't the one always pumping the gas, I was the one making the trucks be able to pump the gas, which kind of goes back into saying this too. Our logistics is a support role to any mission or business. My job has a saying, which is that without fuel, pilots are pedestrians. And this is more apparent when you're seeing a latency of response times for pilot training hours or for flights in general. If it takes long for the fuel truck to get to the jet can't go and fly, and it can't come back down in time. It's a butterfly effect. Fuels management in that process just proves its importance. It's the second highest expenditure in the DoD budget. And I can see how that application was reaffirming that for me, because in my personal experience, I was an assistant supervisor at SeaWorld, and I got to assist my boss in making sure that products were done correctly and pushed out, or things were cleaned and everything was done correctly. It was only solidified too by a mindset ingrained in my childhood, which every job has a purpose in the greater scheme of it. And in that, and so my goal was to always, whatever job I'm in, is to always do it to the best of my abilities. And that's, if everybody does that equally, that kind of have a hive mind to it, the greater mission will be successful. And so I've always had success fulfilling those support positions, and that validated my purpose in logistics. And applying my skill sets and wanting marketability and getting to see my organizational skills come to fruition. And I realized that I was meant to be in logistics. So no one ever grows up, or very few of us grow up desiring to be a logistician. And you hear good kids, they want to be presidents, they want to be spacemen, those things. But I came through finding that I was marketable, I've always had organization, and that I've always had success in those supportive roles. This was what I belonged into as logistics. So much like the seamless merge of two rivers flowing into one direction, confluence, I encourage you to reflect on how your strengths lead you to your careers and your path in life and your passions, and focus them towards the path life is taking you. Find your confluence.